Full Gospel Evangelistic Center makes an impact locally and beyond through a wide range of events, ministries, and outreaches. Pastors Steve and Debbie Owens invite you to worship Sunday mornings at 10:30 and attend Wednesday night Bible studies at 6:30. Connect with FGEC online, follow them on Facebook, download their app, and visit their new website at myfgec.org with live YouTube video streams as well as recordings of services and special events. Full Gospel Evangelistic Center, 304 North McLean Street in Lincoln. Whether you're buying or selling your home, the brokers of Me Realty will work with you to get the deal done. As one of Central Illinois' top producing offices for decades, Me Realty has the experience to guide you through the process. You want results? Call the brokers of Me Realty at 217-735-5424, stop by the office at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, or check out local listings online at merealty.com.
Culver's is a family restaurant. To me, that means being the place that puts a smile on everyone's face. We're famous for our cooked-to-order butter burgers and frozen custard made daily inside our restaurants. But we've always believed more menu options mean more ways to brighten your day. We source the finest chicken to bring you our tenders and chicken sandwiches. And our cheese curds. They're a Wisconsin tradition we're proud to share with you. So take the next meal shift off and let us take care of you. Welcome to Delicious.
Culver's, home of the Butterburger, 2530 Woodlawn Road in Lincoln. The following is a presentation of WLCN 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com. This live video stream is made possible in part by WLCN's live stream technology sponsor, Me Realty, located at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, and online at merealty.com.
Good morning, sports fans. Welcome to the Cheap Seats, WLCN 96.3 FM, broadcasting live from Jake's Furnishings.
What about the new seat here? It's nice out here.
Plush,
right? You know what I mean?
It's nice.
This
is
nice
new
out here.
This is
get this
just
in?
out of the plastic. Yep.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh. Soft, pettable pillows, soft, comfy fabric, deep seating.
It's comfortable.
Plush.
I'm going to tell you what, it's nice out here. If you haven't been out to Furniture Jake's, come out, walk around, have a seat.
Hell, take a nap.
Have a donut?
Yeah, have a donut. Bring out, I don't know, spaghetti or something and just sit in one of the couches and eat.
Yeah, and red wine.
We do have sofas for that. Yeah. We have to direct the customer to the right spot.
Do you, is leather the best cleanup furniture? Here, but we're really going off the board now.
Well,
what's your best furniture like for cleanup? You have kids and everything.
Well, I'd recommend leather.
Pets.
Especially with pets, I'd rather recommend leather.
Leather. Tuscadero.
Tuscadero. No, I do like leather, but we do have a new fabric. It's called Novella. It was originally designed as an outdoor fabric, so it's got UV repellent on it, all that. But nowadays, it's much more plush and softer feeling. You can bleach it. You can throw it in the laundry. I mean, it's pretty cool stuff. You basically can't stain it.
Oh,
cool.
Challenge
Where's
accepted.
that at? Challenge
I've got
accepted.
a couple sets here on the floor.
Well, we're going to have to go check them out after the show. Maybe on the break. Yeah. Maybe we can go live right there.
And see if we can stain it.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Here we go with that. Hey, Listen to Jim.
I thought Jim would have
over there.
something working over there, but nothing.
Wow.
He's confused.
Jimmy got a sugar buzz going over there. Sugar Shack.
Got quite the show today, fellas.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. It's a full slate of nonstop action.
And tell us what we're talking about.
And information.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
Scotty bringing his iPad in with the big agenda on there.
Well,
big.
He came in ready.
If you've ever seen Seinfeld, we're going to kind of be like that, right?
A lot.
Oh,
like
we've
that.
seen Seinfeld.
Show about nothing?
Right, Lloyd?
Yes.
Joe Feld or Ryan Feld? Ryan Feld.
Yeah, Seinfeld. Let's go, baby.
Ryan Feld. Remember Ryan Feld?
Oh yeah. Yes, I do.
Hospitality Joe.
That's all you need.
Yeah. And that's the show.
Well,
Now we can talk.
Shador saying
We got a special guest calling in here in a little bit. Jake's niece, she's going to be calling in. She's got another big race coming up.
Yep, Miss Sydney Johnson Racing getting ready to race today. Kick off the season. Points are on the board.
the points are on the board. Where's our big race at today?
She's in Havana.
Oh, from Blue Mountains to Havana.
Yeah. No, that was
That was a different
that
one?
was Cecily.
Oh,
That
you're
was in
talking
Blue
like
Mountain.
race car racing.
Race car
Oh,
racing.
you
yeah.
got to.
Yeah, Jim did the same
specify.
thing. Yes, last week was the niece Cecily, Cecily. She's out in the Blue Mountains. She was running a marathon. This week, Johnson Racing, which is my niece Sydney, drives a dragster, and she starts the season today.
You sound kind of unsure about which niece is which.
Listen, there's a lot of nieces, and two of them start with S's. That's a problem.
Very confusing.
Yeah.
Very confusing for you.
that's
Very
a-
confusing.
that's a lot
That's
to
a lot
take
for
in.
you to try to figure out.
Absolutely.
Now, I thought Jim could press that button as he often does and give us one of those Sunday, the race thing.
Well, it's Saturday.
But
Joe.
he could say Sunday, same thing.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
well,
Same thing, but just
Nobody thought it was the same thing.
same thing, just a different day.
Totally different day. Yeah.
We're going to sell you the whole seat, right, Jake?
You only
Well,
need
you
half.
only need the edge.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got one of those, Jim? No.
You are correct, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
But no, exciting times. Kicking off the season's always fun. You get to see all the old racers and get to see a few of the new ones, and makes new friends. And they got a whole family that's over there that basically they missed for about 4 or 5 months, and now they're jumping back in. So,
How old is she?
she's an 8th grader, graduating from Chester East this year, 14.
Wow.
So,
It's probably a pretty inexpensive sport to be in, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Just pennies.
I mean, it is inexpensive if you have good sponsors.
You know any?
I don't know that they have good sponsors, but they do have Jake's Furnishings.
They have a
on
sponsor.
there. They've got Nick's Fabrication out of Atlanta. They got, I believe, White's Implement in Waynesville and Renfro Meats, I believe. So they've got some good sponsors.
Are you done?
No, yeah.
I was letting you lead the way,
Thought she was
Scotty.
gonna, yeah.
Well, you're messing with your mic, and it's driving me nuts. There. All right.
Lead,
You guys been
follow,
watching?
or get out of the way.
I have no idea what he's talking
I
about.
don't either. Anyway, you guys been following the NFL draft at all?
A little bit.
A little bit. Number 1 pick overall, Cameron Ward to the Titans. That's no big surprise there.
No, but let's talk about him. What do you think?
I think he's a decent quarterback.
Think so? Think that's the right pick?
I mean, for the Titans, they draft Will Levis,
He thought
a couple years
he
ago?
was wanting to come out last year, right? And I think it was in Washington State, and then went to Miami because it found out his draft stock wasn't quite as high as what he thought it would be.
Thought he could bring them a national championship.
And pretty good move on his part.
Yeah.
I mean, now he's number 1 pick, so
Worked out for him. Didn't get hurt.
Didn't work out. Yeah, it didn't work out bad.
And then Travis Hunter going number 2. You know, he's a wide receiver / cornerback, and
love him.
And you know, he goes to Jacksonville. And
can't get enough great athletes on your team.
And I tell you what, I don't know if you guys have listened to him or anything. That kid is, I mean, as high energy as you can get. He's like John Gruden with a young body that's athletic.
Chucky.
I tell you, he's just nonstop, man. He's awesome.
Well, you know, I think that's you just got to fill your team up with athletes, and he is one. I mean,
they're saying he's going to play both wide receiver and corner.
Are they going to utilize him on both positions? And you know, if that's the case, I mean, that's going to take a toll. You know, playing 17 games, a year, and can you go both ways?
Well, I'm sure they'll put him in special packages on the offensive side.
So special both ways, really.
Yeah.
And
where is
probably not? I'm thinking
he's going to take away the deep ball. He's not trying to. They won't bring him up on tackles.
What is his best position? Wide receiver or cornerback?
Corner. Yeah. Well, I say that. I don't know. That kid, if he gets his hands on the ball, he's about as fast as you can see. I mean, he's pretty awesome. He's good. I mean, I've watched a little bit of Colorado football, and for the last couple of years, he's been fun to watch.
And you know, the original modern day two-way starter in the NFL was
Deion.
Bo. No, man. Bo never played defense.
Never played defense.
Could have.
But he didn't. It was Roy Jetstream Green.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, it was.
False.
Guy returned punts, kicks, started on offense and defense, and that was in the 80s. That's modern day football.
There was guys doing it in the 60s and 70s.
I said modern day.
Well, I mean, what's modern day? You think the 80s is modern?
80s was when football was really booming, you know. You came out of all the
40
60s
plus
and 70s.
years ago.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? You're a different talent if you can go out there and play both ways. Deion is too, but he was not the original. You know what I mean? That's like before Michael Jordan.
He's our original. I mean, you're talking
Dr. J.
guys that we don't even know.
You should know Jetstream.
Don't know him.
All right.
Who's Charles Woodson? Did he play both ways?
No. Nice try. He was a returner.
It's a good pick. That's a good choice.
He did do returns. That's why.
Punt return, but
Well, in college he was both ways.
was he? I think you're making stuff up, but all right, we'll go with that.
Lloyd's looking it up as we speak.
Yeah.
Didn't the Cardinals have a two-way player?
No.
Roy Jetstream Green.
No, the baseball Cardinals.
There was, Brian Jordan.
That's right.
He was a safety, I think. He's good.
Okay. Let's move on down to the Bears. With the 10th pick in the draft, they take a tight end, Colston Loveland, out of Michigan.
Interesting.
Kind of surprising move there. I thought Tyler Warren was, on their radar, and they choose to go with Loveland. And I think they're going to, we got a caller? Well, we'll get back to the NFL draft after we talk to our guest. And, Jake, if you want to introduce our guest, if you remember her name.
Well, I don't. Caller, what's your name?
My name is Sydney Johnson.
Sydney Johnson of Johnson Racing?
Yep.
That a girl. How's it going out there?
It's going pretty good out here. Kind of cold.
Kind of chilly. You ready for the big race season?
Oh, yeah.
So what's happening today? Kind of walk us through what you're going through today.
So we're doing here in about 45 minutes. We'll have time runs, which is like just a qualifying session, basically. And then we'll go into first round, and that's when we start like actually running against each other and trying to win. And then hopefully I don't have to buy back, and I'll have myself in the finals.
That's what your sponsors want to hear right there.
In the final. Now, what type of racing are we talking here, Jake? I mean, there's...
Well, Sid, can you explain to Scott and Joe and our listeners what kind of racing you're doing out there?
We're doing some drag racing.
Yeah.
What's your car like? What's it look like?
It's got It's black with white racing stripes.
Yep, it's like a mini funny car, if you will.
Okay, yeah.
It's a junior dragster.
Okay.
And how fast will you end up going down that drag?
I go 85 miles an hour in about an eighth of a mile.
Wow.
Oh, if she could do 120, I mean, actually, if she could do no limits, this is what
Is
this
there
girl
is
would
there
do.
a limit? Obviously.
Yes, there is a speed limit.
So 85 is probably the top.
Is that right, Sid? There's a speed limit on those, right?
There is a speed limit until I am 16.
Yep.
Okay, and then
all bets are
I'm
off.
all bets
16.
are
She's
off.
going to drive 85 until then.
I'm telling you right now.
It makes perfect sense.
And I can't go any faster than 7.9 seconds down the racetrack or I'll get disqualified.
Is that
Really?
So what do you put in as your time? So what you do is you do this time trial, right? And then
So I do this
you guys
time
try
trial.
to guess your time that you're going to cross this finish line, right?
Yep. So basically, this whole thing is basically a guessing game. And it's so as soon as you leave the line off we call it the Christmas tree.
Yep.
You dial your car in, so you take the 2 time runs that you have, and you make an educated guess on what you're going to run down the racetrack. So then, by the time you hit the tree, you got to be down the racetrack to try to match your time. And the closer you are to your time, the better.
Okay. So Jake's just a sponsor, right? He doesn't help you make an educated guess on times.
He's a sponsor. Pretty good one.
Good follow-up. He's a sponsor.
Okay, good answer.
And I'd also like to thank Bees Floor and Landscaping and Nick's Fab Shop for us.
All right.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, because I mean, we were talking a little bit before you came on that this isn't a cheap sport. There's a lot of money that goes into your engines and tires and everything to make that car operate.
Definitely not a cheap sport.
So is it? How is it? Are you the engine size? That's part of it. Like everybody's got the same engine.
So it all goes off based off your age. So there's different types of motors, but the 2 bigger motors are based off of 5-horse Briggs.
Okay.
But it's a 1-piston motor.
So is everybody basically driving the same type of vehicle, and then?
Yes, everybody is basically driving the same type of vehicle, but there's different motors on each car.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. But somebody else couldn't. You're limited on what your engine could be. I mean, somebody else can't have a
40 horse.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you gotta.
No.
They're limited at this level. Once you get into, the old man series or after the junior size, then
Once you're 16 and you can drive 85.
You can drive 180, whatever you want to go.
Now you're talking about being a little chilly out there. Does weather affect the way that the car operates?
Yes, most definitely.
There you go.
Yeah. So
Good question. Look at
you
it.
got to get those tires heated up, right, to get some grip. And when it's chilly,
Yeah.
that's a little rough to do.
Yeah, we don't do no burnouts though. It's hard on the motor.
Yeah.
Hard on the tires.
You want to save that motor.
Hard on your dad's mechanic skills.
So who is your head mechanic?
Philip Johnston, my dad.
Okay, and he knows what he's doing?
I think so, sometimes.
He's pretty talented, we'll say that.
Do you keep the cars over there? You got to trailer them.
You guys trailer them, right?
Yeah, an enclosed trailer and a motorhome.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
They got a rig going over
Nice
there.
little setup.
Yeah.
We rolled down the road at about 70 foot.
Tell you what, so you cook out and have beverages and stay all night and everything, or no?
My parents have beverages.
No.
You can't have it until you're 16 and can go faster than 85. My parents have beverages. Good answer.
I mean, by beverages, you mean like soda and
Yes, Gatorade.
and beer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of beer.
I stick to Gatorade during the day most of the time.
Okay, good. That's good for you.
Hydrated.
Good answer.
That's good for you.
Good
Now,
answer.
Sid, you've had to put some work into this chassis and everything this last year. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we bought a new car last July. We drove all the way to Ohio and back in one day, and had to get the car ready in 2 days and go to the racetrack.
Wow. I mean, that's.
And then that weekend, that first weekend out, it was a 2-day race. I raced Saturday and Sunday, and I ended up winning Sunday.
Now, being an expensive sport, is there an entry fee that you guys have to pay for these races, and what's the maybe average purse that is involved in these?
It's usually like 50 to enter, and then you win 500.
Okay.
Nice.
You got one of them big checks a couple times last year, didn't you?
Yeah, I got a big old check.
Yeah.
They bring it out there. She stands over top of her car holding that thing.
Big check. Take
It's
that
fun
to the
watch.
bank.
Pretty cool.
At the racetrack, we call them a Happy Gilmore check.
Yep.
All right.
We like that. So how many cars will be racing over there?
Today, there's probably around 10.
At your age bracket.
At your age bracket, but there's all kinds of races going on, like all day long, different ages and everything.
Yeah, different ages, different types of cars.
Now, do you try to help anybody else out over there, or do you like to wander around talking with the other race car drivers?
Yeah, I got a couple people over here. I got Bob Gaston.
Oh, yeah.
He'll come out sometimes. Brian Milam. Alyssa Voltenberg. And Bob and Deb Weaver.
There you go. Now, do any of those guys ever give you a hand with your setup?
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, it's kind of a family thing, isn't it?
Yep, over here it's like a big old family.
Yeah, I like that.
Now, how many races a year typically do you do?
We usually race every weekend, and if we race from the end of March into the end of October.
Okay. And
Wow.
What kind of fuel are you putting into these cars? I mean, it's not, you just
and
don't go down
Junior-
to Casey's and buy fuel.
Juniors.
In my car, we use methanol.
Okay.
And last year, we went through 35 gallons of fuel.
And where do you get methanol fuel? I mean, is it like a race shop or?
Yeah, we get it from a race shop.
And you only went through 35 gallons last year?
Ish, yeah.
And what's that per gallon, Jake? About $10 a gallon for methanol?
Oh, I have no idea, but the sponsor just writes the check.
Oh, you just give them the check. You don't get an invoice.
No.
Do they send you a bill?
A 55-gallon drum is over $300.
Oh, that's not bad.
No.
So it's not terrible.
That lasts you a year, though.
How long do the tires last?
We usually run ours a year to 2 years,
Oh,
depending
that's
on
good.
how they look.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, they got to hold up, and the course will determine it. Now, Sid, there's a big race that you went to last year, right?
Yeah, it's called Team Finals.
And where's that at?
It changes every 3 years. Last year we went over to US 41
And where's that, Indianapolis?
in Indiana.
Yep. And those races pay a little bit more if you can win, right?
What'd you say?
Those races will pay out a little bit more if you can win.
Yeah, a little bit, but if you win the team finals, you get money, a plaque, and you get to go to Mississippi for like a week and race at the World Finals.
And that's your plan, right?
That is my plan this year.
Great.
To win points and go to Mississippi.
So do you compete against, familiar faces at each race? I mean, are the same people that you're racing against week in, week out? Or does it kind of change up a little?
It kind of depends on what track we go to.
Mm-hmm.
I know quite a few people, but there's always some unfamiliar faces, but for the most part, I know most of them.
Now, where do you rank in your age group? I mean, obviously, you're probably there at the top, you know.
Every year starts new.
Go ahead.
Every year starts new, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is the first one. So we'll get a good idea where she's at after this race.
Yep. Hoping to pull the win out.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds
Take home the W.
fun. It's got to be a pretty big rush just flying down that course.
It's a rush as an uncle just watching it, you know.
Do you guys have the umbrellas that pop out to slow you down?
I have 2 on the back of my car.
Or the parachutes?
How often do you use them?
Umbrellas.
I said umbrella. I meant parachute. Same thing.
I'm only allowed to pull them in the final round if I win.
Well, they got to be tough to put back in there. I was just gonna say.
You wrap
It's
your
not
shoe.
that hard. It's literally you fold, and then you twist and push.
Okay.
Kind of like a
fold, and fold.
push.
So it takes about
6 folds.
Takes about 8 seconds.
Maybe about 3 minutes.
And praying that it ejects and inflates, and just like a skydiver. You hope that thing pops open so you slow down.
It's like trying to get that pop-up tent thing back in that bag that you dug out there. You're not going in there. That's simple.
Just a fold.
Thing's not
twist,
going back in there.
Push.
Yeah.
And cross your fingers.
Well, I think that'd be a good job for your uncle to do when he's at the race. Be the
Parachute folder.
the umbrella.
Umbrella.
She would
You know what I meant.
works.
Umbrella, parachute, same thing.
Jump out of an airplane with an umbrella, bud.
Well,
Or use a parachute in the rain. Either way, I don't think they're the same.
Well, Sid, make sure you keep us up to date on how it goes. And, if anybody wants to follow Sid, she does have a Facebook page, Johnson Racing, and maybe go on there and follow her.
I also got TikTok and Instagram.
does your brother help you out at all, Tate?
No, he's lame.
He's lame? Well,
Let's get that out of the way right now.
That sounds like Jake's nephew. Lame.
He likes
know
other
you said
sports.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He likes sports with balls.
Yep, that's definitely Jake's nephew.
Oh.
Well, Sid, good luck today. I hope you do well, and keep us updated throughout the year on how you're doing. And that would be kind of neat to go watch her. I've never seen a race like that.
It's a fun weekend.
So maybe one of these weekends we can have a little guys trip and go watch you do some racing. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Bring your lawn chairs and your coolers.
Well,
Well, you guys have the grill going?
Not yet.
But will you?
Will you when we come over? We want the grill. We'll bring something to throw on it.
We'll have the grill here.
Bring some railer chops for you.
Yeah, we'll bring something to throw on it.
yeah.
That sounds like a good day.
Well, I think we just made a plan here. Not that we ever stick to it. Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Sid. Make sure you get out there and get a W today.
Thank you so much. And once again, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Jake Furnishing, Bees Floral and Landscaping, and Nick's Fab Shop.
Absolutely.
Bees.
That a girl said.
Get Daryl to work on that truck or that car. Daryl will do it.
Good luck today, Sid, and go get that big Happy Gilmore check.
I'll try. Thank you, guys.
Yep, you're welcome.
See you.
Yep, good luck. That sounds
very interesting.
amazing.
Oh, it's pretty fun. If you get a chance, check out our Facebook page. It has a few of her races on, or TikTok. If you do TikTok, and that's her posting.
What is TikTok?
And her TikTok stuff is very entertaining. So my brother does the Johnson Racing page on Facebook mostly. She might edit it a little bit and whatnot, but the content on the TikToks much newer.
You know, the one thing I don't think we asked her, have I already missed it, was how long does it take to get the end? What's the average like?
Well, she can't go over 7.85 seconds,
Correct,
or she's
yeah.
disqualified.
Yeah.
So I mean,
she wants to be around 7.81, 7.83, somewhere in that range. It's not necessarily if you beat the person, it's how close to that time you get. So, you got to hit the tree, because right as soon as the tree hits green, the seconds are counting down. You only got, 7.85 seconds to get there. And the closer you get to the time that you predict, the better off you are. I know last year there was one race, my brother was talking, they were sitting there and they were all in a big powwow what she should run. And he's like, before we even walked up there, I'm telling myself, and I'm just throwing numbers out here, I'm telling myself 7.81. And they're like, no, let's do 7.83. He's like, no, we need to be at 8.1. They vetoed him, and they put in 8.3, and she nailed 8.1. So,
well, he's the smartest, Johnston.
By far.
Well, we figured that out. We're sitting right here just by you telling that story.
Yeah.
We've got some Johnsons with some
knowledge.
good knowledge. So
That's good. All right. Well, let's take
including the mother. She's trying to call in now.
Well, let's take a break.
I'm on the radio.
Well, we'll take a break. You answer that phone.
That'll work.
All right. We're going to take a commercial break. We'll be back after these messages.
Whether you're buying or selling your home, the brokers of Me Realty will work with you to get the deal done. As one of Central Illinois' top producing offices for decades, Me Realty has the experience to guide you through the process. You want results? Call the brokers of Me Realty at 217-735-5424, stop by the office at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, or check out local listings online at merealty.com. Full Gospel Evangelistic Center makes an impact locally and beyond through a wide range of events, ministries, and outreaches. Pastors Steve and Debbie Owens invite you to worship Sunday mornings at 10:30 and attend Wednesday night Bible studies at 6:30. Connect with FGEC online, follow them on Facebook, download their app, and visit their new website at myfgec.org with live YouTube video streams as well as recordings of services and special events. Full Gospel Evangelistic Center, 304 North McLean Street in Lincoln.
Culver's is a family restaurant. To me, that means being the place that puts a smile on everyone's face. We're famous for our cooked-to-order butter burgers and frozen custard made daily inside our restaurants. But we've always believed more menu options mean more ways to brighten your day. We source the finest chicken to bring you our tenders and chicken sandwiches. And our cheese curds. They're a Wisconsin tradition we're proud to share with you. So take the next meal shift off and let us take care of you. Welcome to Delicious.
Culver's, home of the Butterburger, 20.
Broadcasting live from Jake's Furnishings, and on the phone with us now is Joel Vincent. Good morning, Joel.
Morning, guys. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. Just talked a little bit, some drag racing there with Jake's niece, Sydney. She's over in Havana today. Pretty interesting stuff. We just pulled up some videos on Facebook of her racing, and that looks fun. You ever wanted to get in that car, Jake? You probably wouldn't fit, but
no, this one I can fit in.
You can fit.
How'd they get you out?
That was, there was a shoehorn, some lube involved,
and a crane.
Oh, a skidster maybe.
So did you ever take it down the runway?
No. Baby oil? She said you should drive it. I'm like, no, I'm not driving this thing.
No.
Joel, afraid I'd damage it.
NFL draft going on right now, Joel. I know you're a big Bears fan, and we'll just get to that pick. Those picks. 10th pick in the draft, they go with the tight end from Michigan. Does that surprise you a little bit, or from the way I look at it, with Ben Johnson there, and we saw what Sam Laporta did at Detroit, and they're kind of comparing him to a little bit of Sam Laporta, and if that's the case, that would be fantastic.
Pretty good, yeah.
Well, I think it was like him or Warren. Most people thought they'd go Warren.
Yeah.
So you start asking yourself, all right, what's the difference between these guys? And there's one glaring difference is Loveland is very fast. He can get behind teams and did so regularly in the Big Ten. And at a school where they haven't had a quarterback that could throw the ball in several years, and I know J.J. McCarthy got drafted, but nobody could argue that he was a passing quarterback in college. They ran the ball a lot. Mm-hmm. So for him to get that kind of production, it'd be like being a wide receiver for the Bears the last 20 years. How can you put up good stats when you don't have anybody throwing you the ball?
Right.
So the fact that he stood out with really a run-first team mindset both last year and this year, it's good. And I'm kind of like this with Ben Johnson. Hey, if he says Loveland fits his offense better than Warren, then I'm going to go with him, because obviously he knows way more than I do, and that's what he wants. But that seems to me to be the difference, is he wants somebody that can get the middle of the field, to get behind the linebackers, and possibly beat a safety in a foot race.
It's going to help the wide receivers.
Yeah,
go double tight.
Yeah.
The whole mock draft, pre-draft conversation was, they were wanting Genty, the running back out of Boise State. Obviously, he didn't fall to number 10, but you listen to all the mock draft guys online, and there's a trade in place that the Bears are going to trade up to number 5 and take Genty. Well, obviously none of that happened. So you take those mock drafts what they're worth, and the only ones that you're really going to hit on was Cam Ward and Travis Hunter. Those were the top 2 obvious picks in the draft, and everything else just kind of shuffles, and you just kind of play your cards. And obviously you got to have a backup plan. You got to have plan B if that guy you're looking at doesn't fall to you.
Well, I think that might have happened in the second round. I think, based on everything you heard, right, they were going to draft Travion Henderson, the running back out of Ohio State, and he got all the way to the pick before them. And I think it was New England. I thought, well, this is perfect, because I don't think New England's going to want a running back at this spot, and sure enough they did, so I was kind of bummed. And then when I saw the pick when they got Luther Burden out of Missouri, I was like, whoa, that's a really good plan B, because start of the season he was ranked the number 1 wide receiver prospect in the country, period.
Yeah.
He didn't have the best year. Part of that was just Missouri itself, their offense. They kind of switched things around a little bit, but the comparisons you hear, not size-wise maybe, but after the catch, he's more like a Deebo Samuel, who really, they kind of make their money once the ball gets in their hands. And, we see that with him in San Francisco when he was there, Deebo, where they, run tosses to him out of the backfield or whatever. They just get him the ball however they could. So I think if you get Burden to come in, he's probably going to be your punt returner, maybe your kick returner, and definitely probably going to be your slot, or your speed receiver on third down. That's a guy that was supposed to be a top 5 pick when the season started, and to get him in the second round is a pretty good backup.
Yeah, then the Bears, they also had the 41st pick, Joel, but they traded it to Buffalo, and it looks like they got a couple of picks out of that later on in the third round. And with the 56th pick overall, they take Ozzie Trapillo, an offensive tackle from Boston College. And,
huge.
And we saw what they did in the offseason was signing some veteran linemen to shore up that offensive line, and now they're just looking for some depth.
Yeah, I kept thinking, I was waiting, they got to get either an offensive lineman or defensive lineman, and they kept drafting skill players, which is okay. I mean, Johnson knows what he needs, but at some point, it's good they went and got 3 stud offensive linemen to come in and play this year from different teams, but a couple of those guys have a few years on them already, so you got to start drafting a little bit for the future, and our backups last year were not very good, so
horrible.
They need all the help they can get on the offensive line, and he likes guys that are a certain body type that move a certain way. So again, I'm going to trust that this may not have been the right offensive lineman for every other team, but he knows what he wants for his offense, and this must click that box.
I think he comes in and starts. That guy's
Trapillo?
Yeah.
You know a lot about Trapillo?
No, I just watched some highlight stuff of him, but he's huge.
Huge?
Why would you want him sitting over there?
What's his
6'8", 315.
Is
72-inch wingspan.
Say they go off your arm length on a lot of these, and I mean they get really technical about it. And this guy's arms are too short; he won't be able to stuff that defensive lineman. But if you can play football, you can play football.
Yeah, this guy's a dude.
And then with the 62nd pick overall, they go with a defensive tackle out of Texas A&M, Shamar Turner. And, they do need help at that defensive tackle position, and hopefully they got their guy in round 2.
Yeah, I knew him I didn't know the guy from Boston College, the offensive lineman, by name. I mean, I saw Boston College play a couple times last year, but I wasn't really paying attention to their offensive line.
Right.
This guy, though, there's 2 Shamars, right, at the D line at Texas A&M. There was Shamar Stewart, who went in the top 20, and then there was Shamar Turner. I like him because he can play not only DT, but he can slide out and play a little bit of DE end. It's kind of crazy how much they've transformed that defensive line from last year to now, to adding the guy from the Colts to be their starter opposite Sweat, and then they got Grady Jarrett, and then you still got Javon Dexter there from last year, and now you add this guy for some more backup depth, and Billings will be coming back. And before he got hurt, Billings might have been headed to the Pro Bowl. He was having a great year. So they've really beefed up that part of it now. A Dingbo better be really good rushing from the other side, because they gave him a lot of money to come here. So hopefully that pans out, because if not, then that's going to look like a really bad move.
Yeah, and then obviously the draft going on today and tomorrow, and this is where you try to find that those sleeper picks, in the later rounds, where they can help your team, not only special teams, but at the other positions as well. So I mean, they grade these drafts on how they're doing. I'm not really sure where the Bears have graded so far, but it's just kind of one of those things with the new head coach coming in. You don't know what you're going to get, but there's a lot of excitement there. We haven't had a offensive-minded guy like this and probably forever or at all. So, it's good.
They really need to go find a running back today.
Yeah.
I think somebody with some speed too. Somebody that they can swing the ball to, because he likes to do that. Now, I do think they'll use Burton from Missouri, the wide receiver, that way in a lot. I think they'll kind of make him. And I'm not saying he's anywhere near this guy's caliber. I'm just talking about how he was used. But think about how Tyreek Hill was used in Kansas City, where they'd line him up sometimes out of the backfield and just swing him little screen passes. Or sometimes they'd put him in motion and run like jet sweep stuff to him. I could see them doing that with him if they don't get a speed running back that's a little more shifty than Swift.
Well, let's go
because Ben Johnson really, he did that a lot with that Jameson Williams in Detroit, and then also Jahmyr Gibbs. So they got to find somebody that can do that role.
Is Scadaboo still out there, Joe?
Scadaboo's out there.
Let's go get him. Let's go get him, because that guy, he's pretty versatile. And there's just
who's had a good draft? The Arizona Cardinals. 3
have they?
Standouts.
Oh,
here come the Big Red, baby.
You say that every year, Joe.
Joe doesn't talk, with a positive tone, we'll say, of your Cardinals too often. But usually on draft day, you're pretty happy.
They have 3 good. They've made 3 good picks.
Has there been any surprises, guys? You think in the first round, actually first 3 rounds? There's a couple surprises.
And you're probably talking about Sanders.
Well, that's one. Actually, that's one.
Let's talk about Sanders.
Well, he goes from a top
2, top 1 or 2 picks. Yeah. I mean, there's some people thinking he was going to be the number 1 pick.
Joel, what do you think of that? Not Colonel Sanders.
I think he probably got some bad advice from his dad, number one. I think his dad probably told him to go into those interviews and you let them know that you're the man and you're going to set the tone and change their franchise. And I'm guessing a lot of people were just, I've heard it all week. You heard people were turned off by the interviews were terrible. There was a lot of
but I tell you what, every mock
unearned
draft,
arrogance shown, and
every mock draft had him in the top 15. Every single one. There wasn't a single draft mock draft that anybody had that didn't have him in the top 15.
I tell you what, Deion's part of the problem, I think. Well, who wants to drag that mess to your team?
Yeah. I think, and this is just my opinion, I haven't heard this on the radio or TV, and so this may be crazy, but my opinion is he was done a great disservice by his dad in this aspect. Obviously, come on, who wouldn't want to learn from Deion if he was your dad, how to be a competitor, how to be an athlete? Of course, that was great.
Sure.
But do you guys know Deion was his coach since he was in first grade, and the only coach he's ever had?
Oh, boy.
And so why is that a problem, especially coming from somebody like me who coached a lot of my kids and other kids as they were growing up? Well, number one, my kids weren't going to go to the NFL, so there's a big difference too. But
the poor coaching.
He set everything up for Shedeur. Everything was set up around him. Everything was set up to be in his favor his whole life.
Sure.
And that's why Deion was the coach. But the problem is, those aren't offenses you run in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And so you can't really grab tape that says, yeah, we're going to do that in the NFL. He can do that because, 50% of his passes, his completions, were behind the line of scrimmage or within 1 yard of the scrimmage. Mm-hmm. So that tells you right there. They run around and say, oh, he broke the record for 75% passing. Well, yeah, but it's not that I'm taking away from what he did, but when it's a very, very short passing game, a lot of guys could do that. And I think teams are saying, I don't see where he's got a strong enough arm to make all the throws. This isn't his dad's offense.
Right. And you got to think, pre-draft stuff, just the way that they went about themselves. Like, he's got to go to the right team, and you probably scared a lot of these GMs away. Like, if we do draft this guy, is he going to hold out or is he not going to sign? Is he going to pull who was Eli Manning or?
Well, the first one that really kind of did it, well, not really, but John Elway, said, I'm not going to play that.
Right. And, if you waste a pick on this guy and he's, not happy, that's not where he wants to be and just holds out, and then that's a wasted pick, and there's got to be in the back of the mind of those GMs where that's a risk. It's a risk
and
pick.
he wants to be a starter, or his dad is going to criticize you constantly until he does start.
Well, you may not be wrong, but let me say this. He can be a very good passer. I'm not a fan of his by any means.
I'm not going to take away his athleticism.
Being kind of on the Nebraska bandwagon like I am, you watch a little bit of the Colorado games and whatnot, just because they're kind of a big rival, and he could throw the ball. I'm not just talking behind the line of scrimmage. I'm talking up in the pocket. He stayed in the pocket a lot. He wasn't always running away. So I think he's got some stuff to offer some NFL teams, and he could be a big surprise for whoever gets.
I really feel like you're not wrong. It's the baggage that comes with it.
Correct. But you don't know. Maybe he's going to say, hey, maybe I can't say this.
You ever see Deion backing off? I don't.
No. But at the same time, he is not his dad. I will say that. But at the same time, he has had those interviews where he tried to sound a little bit too much like him. So you kind of wonder if that may have played into it. I still think, though, also just to stay on the
piggyback
things that were a little bit of a surprise. The Packers drafting a wide receiver in the first round. That was crazy.
Crazy?
Because they haven't done it since 2002. They passed on some of the best names in the game.
They're in desperate need of some wide receivers.
They are in desperate need of some wide receivers, and they got a good one too. So
we don't talk Packers on this.
There's a lot of our listeners that wish
Jim
we
is
did.
about ready to fire you.
Right. And that's.
But we did. I agree. They did have a Packer talk at the draft, didn't he?
What?
Wasn't there a Packer that spoke at the draft?
Yeah, Clay Matthews.
And what'd he say?
Something. He got a letter from the president.
Yeah, he said he got a letter, and that's very doubtful. It's made up.
Fake news. Wrong.
He's got to get his jabs in now because
because here come the Bears.
Here come the Bears.
It'll be the Bears and the Cardinals battling.
They're going to win 35 games this year.
Well, if they played, they would.
Wait till those two meet in the playoffs. Cardinals and Bears.
Playoffs?
Super Bowl.
Oh, you're talking Cardinals playoffs?
Oh, aren't you talking Bears playoffs?
Well, but that's legit.
It's no more legit than the Cardinals.
He said legit playoffs and talking about the Bears.
Yeah.
Well, last year you had them at 14 and 3 or whatever.
And you were close, really.
I mean, you were just
I want to give a shout out to Patrick Hewitt. He sent me a text. He knew exactly who Jetstream Green was.
Oh, yeah?
He backed me up on that, see? You guys need to pay a little more attention to the Cardinal football.
To the 70s?
80s.
80s?
Yeah.
I was just a young tyke back then, Joe.
I know.
I was admiring
You were probably still in
Dan
diapers.
Marino back then.
You were probably still in diapers back in then.
Yeah.
Dan Marino, I think, still the greatest quarterback in the history of football.
Danny?
I always thought he was the greatest football player or greatest quarterback of all time.
He was good.
He's pretty good.
Fun to watch.
It's not.
Even after he got hurt his what was that? His Achilles. It was so bad.
Yeah, he had something go wrong.
Something
Don't remember.
bad, but I mean that guy was just he was a monster.
Joel, you still there? Did we put you to sleep?
I am.
Okay. Sorry. Went on a little bit of a rant there.
Joel, tell us a little bit. I know you're watching the NBA too, so tell us a little bit about the NBA playoffs.
NBA?
Okay.
Are you kidding?
Can you guys still hear me? All I hear on my end is Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah. Joel's not an NBA fan, it sounds like.
Good. That's funny.
Yeah. So, another full 2 days of the draft, and it's exciting. Before you know it, football will be here, and but I can't wait.
We're going to have our fantasy draft thing again this year?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We lost Joel.
We lost Joel.
We lost you, Joel.
Man, he gave up on us.
Well, I don't think you could hear it.
We started talking NBA, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not here."
Detailed message, and I'll get back to you as soon as.
Oh, there he is.
He's going to get back to us as soon as
He's going to
possible.
get back to us as soon as possible.
He'll get back with us.
He sent Jim to voicemail. You know what
Press
Jim
one
does
for
to
more.
people?
Oh, press one.
Now Jim's pressing one. Oh, it's a great show.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
It's a good thing it's free, right? It's not entertaining.
It's entertaining.
I
just
tell you what,
in a dumb way.
I will say this draft this year has been entertaining in a lot of ways. I mean, and the Shador Sanders thing is. Yeah, you almost kind of been waiting for a few years, though, because there's been a few years you're like, that guy shouldn't be drafted.
So let me ask you this. Let's just go to this part. Okay. Can he rescind this and say, hey, you know what? I'm going back to Colorado and playing next year.
I don't think you can.
And if he does, what number would he wear?
With this new NIL stuff, I think you can.
What number would he wear because they retired his jersey?
Well, they can unretire it. Why would you retire his jersey?
That's what I'm saying.
Right when he's done playing. You're done.
You're done. We don't want to see this number on the field ever again.
We're moving on.
I don't know, but I don't know the rules, but I thought if you declared for the draft, I guess it depends if he hired an agent or not. I don't know.
No,
all that has
I
changed.
think that used to be a thing, and now that the NIL thing's out there, they can void that and go back. But maybe I'm wrong.
Well, maybe you're right.
I don't have any idea.
Anybody knows?
Somebody was talking.
I guess
about
the
this
person that would know.
There's a deadline to where you have to declare by.
Oh, there he
and
is.
once you put your name in that list by that certain date, then you can take it out, but you can't go back to college with your same eligibility stuff. So
you were wrong.
You could go play overseas or in the G League, but I think that there is a point now where you have to say I'm going or not. Otherwise people would just say, well, I'm going to wait until they see where they get drafted and then back out, and they can't have that.
Yeah. Because college football teams are trying to fill their roster as we speak, and it's just, man, it's a mess.
It is a mess.
It's a hot mess.
It's an awesome mess. It's awesome.
And, that's why you're seeing a lot of these, older coaches get out of it, and they just don't want to deal with it, and it's understandable. Coach K probably could coach another 10 years, but didn't want to deal with the NIL and Saban, just Wash your hands.
Get away from it.
Oh, Belichick wanted back in, though, didn't he?
Well, look at Tony Bennett, Virginia, and Jim Larinaga. They quit.
Yeah.
Tony Bennett quit like a couple weeks before the season started, and Larinaga wasn't that far after. They were just like, this isn't basketball as I know it. I'm not doing this.
And the guy from was it Villanova? He's on CBS Sports now.
Oh yeah.
Jay Wright?
Yeah, Jay Wright, and
He's good.
He's a great coach.
Yeah.
And it's just the drama and the whole schematics of college sports in general. It's I don't want to say it's ruined, but it's kind of ruined. And it's a tough gig these days to be a coach in college sports. And
I'm going to disagree with you.
well, why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you?
You're like sandpaper.
I don't know about you, but the NCAA tournament this year was phenomenal.
Fun.
The NCAA football tournament basically is what it was this year.
Fun.
Maybe the best ever.
Yeah.
Maybe the best year.
It was good.
So I'm going to disagree with you.
Well, I'm not
just
saying
because
that,
I think the sport's in a better spot than it has been in years.
Making more money than it's ever made.
Now, I will say, as a fan because I'm more of a fan of a team than a player. I hate seeing my team's players go everywhere else.
Right.
I agree with that. But it just makes you hone in on being a fan of the team concept more so than the player concept. So,
but then it's a whole different team next year.
100%.
You can't build that relationship and follow them through their whole career.
You keep hoping for lightning in the bottle, though, right? I mean, no matter, every team wants it. You hope to find it, and if you do find it, then it was all because of that.
Yeah, I mean,
it won't be because you planned out an 8-year plan and we finally got that player that we were hoping to get when he was a fifth grader. Nope, doesn't work like that anymore.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a totally different way of recruiting and
for sure
everything else.
It can help you. It can hurt you.
Absolutely. It depends on how good of guys you've got in place.
Right.
I mean, as you're an Illini guy, on the basketball side of things, Jeff's a big part of making things good in Illinois, and he's done well. As Lincoln people support our Lincoln guy.
You look at all the guys they've got. I've seen hundreds of memes. It's Linovich. All their players end in Vitch, except for Boswell.
Yeah, how's he feel right now? I mean, he was. I guess move him to 2 guard. I guess. I
don't know. They just signed that kid out of overseas at Maranovich or something.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like one of the best players over there.
Yeah.
Period.
And what they're doing, a lot of these teams, they're looking at these. They want older players. 22, 23. Just because they're seasoned and more mature and more physical, where these younger kids,
Well, you say that, and then you look at a guy like Will Riley at the end of the year.
Right.
It's like, ooh, glad we got him.
He's good.
Yeah. He's rounded out.
Right.
So,
Joel, you still there, bud?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
listening.
I know we didn't let you get a word in. Joe and Jake actually had stuff to say today. See what happens when you show up 20 minutes early, Joe? You get into the groove.
Oh, I'm grooving.
Yeah. Joe
it was that agenda.
Yeah, the agenda and Joel and racing.
Joe beat me here, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, now they're after Peja Stojakovic's kid, right?
Yeah, that's still in the mix, too. And then another Vitch. Stojakovic.
Another Vitch. Gotta be careful when you're saying
that. You do. You don't want to.
Make sure you get the V.
You don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to switch the V with the B. You get kicked off air real quick.
That's exactly right.
I've said. Never mind.
Hit you in the head with a wrench.
Hey, well, Joel, thanks for calling in, buddy. It's always a pleasure talking with you, and enjoy your rest of your weekend. I'm sure you'll be watching some more NFL draft and NBA playoffs, Joe. Joe loves NBA.
I was up late last night watching that Timberwolves game.
See, there you go.
That was it was pretty exciting. Anytime I can watch LeBron lose, I'm good with that.
Yeah. Well, I just had a brain fart.
Terrence?
Yeah, Terrence. Did he get any time last night?
I didn't see like the first quarter and a half. I'm sure if he would have played, it would have been after that. So I didn't see him get in. If he did, it might have been like briefly while I was doing something else, but I don't think he got in.
Well, that's a shame. All right, well, we have to go because this show is over, and we look forward to talking to you down the road, Joel.
All right, guys, have a good weekend. Thanks for having me.
Yep, you too, bud. All right, that's going to do it for us today, boys. Boy, an hour flies by. Should we make it 2 hours?
This show should be all morning long.
Yeah.
8 to 12, no breaks.
You know, this is what they want. What do they want, Jay? Do not want that.
They're still investing the JP fired thing, so.
Well,
That's what we're looking at.
all right, that's going to do it for us here on the Cheap Seats. We'll talk to you next week.
Good day.
This live video stream is made possible in part by WLCN's live stream technology sponsor, Me Realty, located at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, and online at merealty.com. The preceding program is a presentation of WLCN 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com.